Apologies for the late start, but welcome to Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 Select Board meeting. We are being recorded. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. We will start this evening with the Town Administrator's Report.
Okay, we will.
Our first.
Welcome, everybody. Town Administrator Report. 2 candidates for the Town Administrator position have been moved forward, Nick Connor and Jason Silva. Final interviews will be televised and live streamed and also on Teams sometime next week. The UV pilot program has been halted 2 weeks early. Dismantling of the pilot began on Monday and should be completed by the end of the week, with the exception of probably the UV trailer. Assistant Town Accountant Trang Vu's last day was Thursday, although she did work both Friday and Saturday to ensure a smooth transition while her position is vacant. I'll miss her. Police union negotiations are ongoing, with the 4th session being held today. The next negotiating session is scheduled for September 9th, 2025. Community development, the Westcott update. Residents are gradually moving into the new building. Up to 20 apartments are currently occupied, with more residents moving in daily. Plans for the ribbon cutting and grand opening are being finalized. The fencing between the Westcott and the Swampscott Housing Authority was replaced last week. The General Glover. The developer has reached out to the town and the Historical Commission with an update regarding plans to preserve the General Glover homestead in its current location. Details are still being worked out, and the developer is actively collaborating with their engineering, legal, and design teams on the overall site design and the future use of the General Glover home. The developer has expressed the expectation that the Historical Commission would provide funding for the restoration of the property, both interior and exterior. The developer will follow up with the town team once the site plan details are further refined. The Hadley. Clarification on the 15-month timeline request. The request is to begin the 15-month milestone timeline from the date of the LDA lease and pilot payment are finalized, rather than from the expiration date of the due diligence was back in April. Building Department. Part-time Commissioner Roger Enos continues to conduct inspections on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he works approximately 10 hours a week. The part-time electrical inspector retired in December. The department is currently looking for a part-time electrical inspector to fill the void. Temporary help was provided the past 2 weeks from the Marblehead Inspectional Services. Inspectors are now enforcing businesses that are in violation of the sign bylaw and are noticing owners who have not identified their buildings with the required house numbers. Thus far in April, the building department has issued 67 permits and has received $21,000 in revenue so far. Library. For the FY25 year, there was a 15% increase in visitors, a 7% increase in materials circulation, and a 28% increase in meeting room use. The library provided 389 programs this past fiscal year with 7,614 attendees. They also issued 2,305 museum passes and held the 2nd annual Patron Appreciation Day with over 200 attendees. Town Clerk. The Town Election Review Committee will be reviewing suggestions for improving the election process. Recommendations will then be presented to the Select Board and subsequently voted on at town meeting. Senior Center. The Senior Center will be receiving their electric van this week. 80 members attended the Fire Department's cookout last week, and an RFP for Community Life Center will be issued soon. Facilities. RFQs will be issued to hire a consultant to design the middle school windows. The library front entry bid will be going out tomorrow, which is great news, long awaited, and the Senior Center air handler condensing unit is currently out to bid. Recreation. Wednesday's Swampscott by the Sea concert features the American Who. Concerts start at 6 p.m. Bring a lawn chair or blanket and listen to some great music. This week's Thursday movie night will feature Free Willy and will be shown on Fisherman's Beach, which is a little different from the past movies which have been held on the town hall lawn. Movie nights are sponsored by Sam Walker's American Tavern. There's a lot going on in September with Swamptoberfest on Saturday, September 8th, with a rain date of September 13th. The town-wide yard sale and Porch Fest will be both held on Saturday, September 20th, and the annual Swampscott Classics Car Show is scheduled for Sunday, October 12th. Police. Approximately 50 residents attended a community meeting hosted by Officer Kevin Reen and Community and Economic Development Director Marzi Galaska last week regarding Stetson Ave and Franklin Ave's traffic concerns. Officer Reen will be working with the DPW to implement possible short-term solutions, with longer-term proposed solutions being presented to the Capital Improvement Committee this fall. The PD's newest recruit, Kevin Kaufman, will be attending the NECC Police Academy starting on October 14th. 16 candidates completed in-person written exams last week. Test scores will be released this week. Oral board interviews will be held on September 22nd, with 8 candidates currently scheduled to be interviewed. The August 10th physical training test was postponed due to a lack of candidates. The next PT training is scheduled for September 3rd. Unfortunately, all lateral candidates have been exhausted at this time. Human Resources. Human Resources have been reviewing applications and interviewing prospective candidates for a variety of open positions, including the vacant town accountant, vacant assistant town accountant, and the vacant land use coordinator positions. Fire Department. Fire Department has reached out to 10 candidates and 8 have replied. This begins the process of filling 3 vacancies, 2 currently open and 1 which will be open in December due to an impending retirement. Beauport Ambulance is using the former Reach Arts building located at 89 Burrell Street while they renovate the old police station across the street. Beauport officially started on August 15th. Public Works. The Atlantic Ave water main replacement project was completed earlier this month with the 10-inch water main, new hydrants, and line gates all being replaced from Blodgett Ave to the Marblehead line. Replacement of the cast iron 6-inch water main with a new 8-inch ductile iron water main on Palmer Ave was also part of that project. Grenice & Sons, a subcontractor for National Water Main Cleaning Company, is currently replacing compromised sewer mains on Essex Street and surrounding roadways as part of the Phase 2A Stacey's Brook Sewer System Rehabilitation Project. And finally, trash. Unfortunately, the Republic Service strike continues. Despite pressure from local elected officials, the governor, and state legislatures, Republic will continue with curbside trash pickup only for this coming week and probably for the foreseeable future. Bulk items will be accepted. I've been asked that question a lot lately. You must have a bulk item sticker, which you can purchase at the town hall. The DPW yard will continue to be open on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for recycling drop-off only. We ask residents to bring recycling in recyclable containers, a cardboard box, a paper bag, or yard waste bag. Plastic bags with recycling will not be accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Gino?
Yeah. So how has the traffic been at the DPW yard for pickup for the recycling drop-offs? Sorry.
So starting Friday afternoon, the cars are lining up at 2:30. They go past Franklin, almost up to Longwood Drive.
Mm-hmm.
They're relatively patient. They come in. We got a pretty good system going on down there. Stays busy like that probably for 2.5, 3 hours, and then the last hour is a little less busy, but steady with cars coming in. Same thing Saturday and Sunday morning, a little less, maybe an hour and a half backed up both mornings.
Okay. And then last thing, any update on the assessor role, on the assessor position? Did you mention that?
I did not mention that, but I did talk to Mary Ann today. She sent that out to Paul to take a look at, and to see it, to take a look at the job description, and that should be going out tomorrow, if not the beginning of next week at the latest.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mary Ellen? Oh, sorry.
Just to follow up on that.
Oh, go ahead.
You saying the job description is just going out tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the posting. We're working on the description to post the position.
Mary Ellen?
I just, on the traffic issue over on Stetson Road, did you
Yep.
say that you're gonna come back in the middle of, September with an answer on how to deal with it? Or what, can you just give me the update on that once again? And I just wanna know, are we putting any speed bumps in there right now? What's the timeline of some action being taken?
So some of the action Kevin and I discussed, we're gonna put up some speed limit signs. It's one of the first. We're gonna put up some delineation markers at the intersection of Franklin and Stetson. And we're gonna wait on the speed bumps. There's gotta be some more talk about it. The speed bumps are popular unless they're in front of your house. And that's been the biggest issue. So for the past 2 years, maybe 3 years, that we've put speed bumps. Each year, the person that's had them in front of their house has requested that they be moved in front of somebody else's home.
Alrighty. So you stole my select board time, but I won't hold it against you, which is this library, fiscal year 25 library snapshot. I just want to commend the library staff who has been working on and off understaffed and still able to accomplish some really wonderful things. I think notably all the programs that they continue to foster, but the things that they have also started this year, which includes the opening of the maker space, the teen space. It's the website's 1-year anniversary. If you use their website, maybe there's something, Diane, we can learn a thing or two for the town's website from their website. It's very easy to use. And I commend the folks both supporting the library and utilizing all they have to offer, because it's been really fantastic, and I just want to thank the staff there for doing that. They also are a wonderful support structure to local nonprofits. My daughter was the librarian for a day recently because we bid on something through a nonprofit, and she had a wonderful time, and Miss Lisa was so kind. And so just those opportunities for the kids to participate in a meaningful way is really great. So commend them. And then wanted to ask, as we approach fall with the trash strike, how we'll handle leaf and yard waste, because, you know, obviously that will ratchet up as the leaves start to fall. So just want to be thinking about that in advance.
Yep. So we already did.
We did one.
Right, and the next scheduled pickup is the week of September 8th.
Okay.
So my goal is we'll probably do it for 2 weeks down at the DPW yard.
Okay.
It worked out pretty good.
Yeah, and I assume that will become worse as people start to actually, you know, rake leaves and stuff. So I don't know how we'll have to adjust. Hopefully we'll be through this by then, but who knows?
I'm hoping.
Do you have something else?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm confused about this assessor thing. So that was passed as part of the funding, the annual budget, right?
Yep.
So is this just a matter of like just too many things going on in terms of the postings happening at this point?
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Okay. And then I don't know if you mentioned it. I apologize for being late. Did you go over the Glover stuff at all?
Yes.
Did.
Yep, okay.
Yep.
So this, what I'm seeing in front of me feels very contrary to what I understood was happening, actually. So I'm a little confused.
Well, it's two different.
Okay.
What I'm reading is what the developer wants to do, and not necessarily what the owner.
Ah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, that's perfect clarification. Yes. Okay. Okay. And so we need to resolve that. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great. We will move on to public comment. Public comment will be 3 minutes a participant. Please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address. And if you are online, please raise your hand. Please.
Right, is this right here?
Yep. Is he good? There you go. Sounds like you're good.
All right. Hello, my name is Justin Epley, town meeting member, Precinct 4. 108 Earl Street in Swampscott, and also a majority owner of Terpene Journey. I have a comment on the social equity policy that's being considered tonight. First of all, I just want to first thank everyone. Not on. Not on. Now better. Thank everyone for putting the social equity policy on the agenda tonight. Personally important to me. I was part of the first cohort of the social equity program with the Cannabis Control Commission. And my public comment pertains to point number 5 on page 3 of the document. It's just as you discuss the policy tonight, I just urge you to adopt language that eliminates the community impact fee for equity parties rather than just, I think currently it says it's something that would be considered and it would be used just to eliminate it for equity parties. Financially, this makes sense for the town because social equity applicants will bring the town a guaranteed additional 1% of tax revenue, which exceeds the impact fees, and it was also the intent for its inclusion in the 2022 law relative to cannabis equity that was revised. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you guys catch that?
Did I catch what he was saying?
Yeah, exactly. The request that was made specifically.
It's section, hold on, I'll tell you.
Yes, it was, sorry, it's point number 5 on page 3.
3. There are 2 point number 5s on page 3, but it's the one that involves considering waiving or reducing the
fees for
fee.
equity partners.
Exactly, yeah. Just would be changing, instead of considering, yeah.
And the note from town council is this is optional and can be removed if the town prefers. So we'll just have to
Okay.
discuss if the town prefers, and he would prefer we
Got
do.
it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, we will move to new and old business. Discussion, possible vote, and appointment of Eric KINSHERF as the temporary town accountant. Gina, would you like to
Sure.
start that?
I will. All right, so as everybody knows, we're short in the accountant department. We lost our finance director now. Recently, we've lost our assistant accountant. So we're bringing on board Eric A. KINSHERF, CPA LLC. Give you a little history on Eric. Eric is licensed in Massachusetts. Qualifications include an MBA from Suffolk University and a Bachelor of Science degree with an accountant concentration from Bridgewater State College. Other credentials include being a certified Massachusetts municipal treasurer and collector as designated by the Massachusetts Collectors and Treasurers Association, as well as a chartered global management accountant as designated by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. There's a lot right there, right? Eric's firm was established in 2008, is located in Sagamore Beach with 2 additional remote offices in central and western Mass. He is responsive and provides total financial services to individuals, businesses, and municipalities. This will be Eric's 3rd time that Swampscott has enlisted Eric. It's accountant support service while transitioning to a new town accountant. So I've been around for all the previous 2, 3rd, and I have the utmost confidence in Eric. Eric's scope includes assistance in closing the books, preparing the combined balance sheet for the submission of free cash, assisting in completing the FY26 tax rate recap, and completing the Schedule A report. So what we're looking to do today is for the select board to appoint Eric as temporary town accountant. This will allow Eric to sign off on AP warrants so we can pay bills after Trang's last day.
Okay.
And has he been already doing some things for us, and this is an expansion of his scope, or is this just codifying the work that he's?
Codifying the work he's been doing.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And this is only part of, obviously, what the town accountant and other position, so how are we managing day to day?
So since we signed the contract with him, which I believe is part of your package, we're gonna need to have additional services, because when we signed it, we didn't anticipate losing the assistant accountant.
Right, okay.
So we're looking to bring on board somebody that's gonna be in the building on a day-to-day basis,
Through him?
through him. Yeah, it won't be him.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the other gentleman's name, Patrick, you remember? Bill? Albert Rowe, yeah. He's already been in the building.
He has a big background in municipal finance.
The only other question I had was, I know that we had talked about a transition audit, and that when we talked about the scope of that transition audit and funded it through town meeting, that potentially we were using perhaps this individual to do that, but I don't know if that's still appropriate now, given their position to take this over. So do we have an answer as to that, or should we be putting back out to bid?
Right. Because we got 4 or 5 quotes at the time, Patrick?
Yeah, we got a few quotes back, which I sent those all to you.
Yep.
He was the one that was selected.
Mhm.
I would leave that up to you all if that
Yeah.
you want to revisit that.
I'll circle back with him to see if there's a conflict.
Yeah, I would
Yep.
guess, let's just ask that question, if there's conflict of interest given. I mean, I think he's looking at prior actions, not current actions, so it's not like the left hand's checking what the right hand's doing. But just make sure that that's okay. And if not, we'll have to take another look at those bids, so we can get that going, because we've funded that also,
That's a good point, because I mean, he is closing the books on 2025, which would be
which would be part of what he's
kind of
looking
a
at, right?
potential overlap.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. And so then we should expect to, would we need to, you be bringing like an addendum to this or something, Gino, would be the idea in the next meeting or two to expand the services?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a motion in the packet, if I would entertain.
Sure. I move to appoint Eric KINSHERF to the office of Town Accountant on a temporary basis pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 40, due to a vacancy. Such appointment shall continue until a permanent successor is appointed to the office.
Second?
And we have to do a roll call vote. Mary Ellen?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to the 6:45 public hearing and discussion of possible vote to consider approval of the transfer of ownership of an existing Section 15 off-premises liquor license for Vin and Square Liquors located at 371 Paradise Road, Swampscott.
Good evening.
Good
members of
evening.
the board. My name is Jeff Colbert, attorney located in Malden. I'm here with my client Angela and Sarah. We're seeking approval of a transfer involving the current stockholders, which is Angela, who owns 98%, and her mom, Margaret, who owns the remaining 2%. Upon the advice of financial advisor and estate planning, it was recommended to the family that Marge transfer her 2% to Angela. And Angela then would become the sole stockholder of the liquor store. She's currently the manager of the store. In terms of procedure, we've notified the 3 abutters a couple times now, because this matter was rescheduled. And we've published a couple of times in the Lynn item. And I would think that, I'm going to entertain any questions you might have, but it seems pretty straightforward.
We're just going to pause you right there because we have to motion to enter into the public hearing. So I will entertain a motion to enter into public
So
hearing.
moved.
In a second.
Second.
Okay, great. So, are there any?
All in favor?
Sorry, roll call. Mary Ellen?
Aye.
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 Aye, okay.
Okay.
So does anybody have any questions for? No? Seems very straightforward, I'm not gonna lie. If there are no questions, then we will move.
Did anyone from the town, just to review all these documents to ensure that they're all in?
Yep, Marzi did, but
Okay.
she's at a ZBA meeting,
Okay.
couldn't be here, so.
I figured
she's all
just,
set with them.
that's, okay, great, thank you.
Very good. And then basically, this goes before the ABCC after we approve it anyways, and ABCC will approve it post our approval.
Correct.
Correct, okay. All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve the transfer of ownership of an existing Section 15 off-premises liquor license for Vin and Square Liquors, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Mary Ellen?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Go
Oops.
ahead.
Aye.
Doug, David?
Aye.
And I am an aye. You are all set.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that very much. And now I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the matter.
So moved.
Second.
Mary Ellen?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And I am an aye. All right, thank you. Moving right along to the water bond. Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Patrick Luddy, Town Treasurer. We have a $600,000 water bond offered through the MWRA's Local Water System Assistance Program that we're looking for approval on tonight. This is a zero-interest loan. It's repayable over a 10-year term. We typically have taken advantage of these in the past many years, I'd say, when they're available to us, and DPW submitted the scope of work to that program and it was approved. So fairly routine. If you have questions about the exact scope of work, maybe Gino could opine, but there's a simple consolidated motion in this memo. Hopefully I've got a copy of that somewhere in your packet. If not, I can run it up. Okay.
We do, thank you. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Patrick on the bond or Gino on the work?
Yeah, Gino, how competitive is the 0% interest loan? I mean, is it a competitive process? Is it oversubscribed?
Oh, I thought you meant the interest rate.
Yeah,
I
the-
said,
the-
David,
the-
it's zero.
The
So-
interest rate, no.
No, I understand what you're asking, but at first I was caught off guard.
You know, that's an interesting question, because I thought of that. So MDRA puts it out to all their communities, and they divide it up. And I think initially, allocation was $5.5 million for 10 years, so we got $550,000 a year for 10 years. But then several communities didn't take advantage of the interest-free loan, which I have no idea why. So they took all that money, threw it back in a pot, and then we got another $3.5 million over 10 years.
I guess they were waiting for the better interest rate.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right?
Well, I'm glad we were able to take advantage of it.
Yep, twice.
Yeah, and I think maybe not in recent history, but in other years, we've maybe been eligible and not taken advantage. So there are times when projects just don't come to fruition.
Yeah, that was, the ones we've been eligible for and we didn't take advantage of were the SRF loans.
Oh, okay, my
Yes,
apologies.
and those are at 2.5?
2%, depending on the term, 2 or 2.4, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I like 0 a little better.
yeah,
than
I like that too, very competitive. Okay, so if there are no other questions, Doug, go ahead.
Just, is this I assume it is, but is this in concert with anticipated needs that we were kind of looking out for doing this? This is all kind of anticipated in the water rates, and we knew, these are not like emergency repairs. This is part of our long-term, keeping the system updated.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And then the other thing I'd like to note is that since it's on Atlantic Avenue,
Yep.
which has been ripped up like 47 times, and is really a hazard for anyone that's not in a Hummer. Do you have any expectation of when we might be at a point where we could actually do a real repair of Atlantic Avenue?
Yep, so the next paving project will include Atlantic Ave from the Puritan Atlantic Humphrey split to Blodgett Ave. Then we're gonna wait a following year because the trenches are gonna settle, and I like to wait to at least one winter,
Okay.
because compaction just isn't great.
Because we're finished with all the major things that we expect to happen.
Right. Because we got new gas and water.
Great. So that would be next year, you'd think that would start?
Possibly the fall
Oh.
for the first section of Atlantic. Yep.
Cool, great, thanks.
Mary Ellen, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, wonderful. So I will entertain a motion as written. Somebody wants to read it?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
I move that the written votes presented to this meeting in connection with the town's sale of its bond be adopted as written and incorporated into the minutes of this meeting in full.
Second.
Roll call. Mary Ellen?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Just cruising right along. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. And if I can just add, there's
Please.
signature pages. I need
Yes.
at least 3 of you to sign. There's
We-
3 of you here, so if
we
you sign
have.
it tonight, you're
Well
good.
done.
Very,
That's all.
It's amazing,
Thank
spending
you.
them like you didn't even see us right after.
I
we
know.
voted.
So I am actually gonna move the LDA discussion to the bottom of the agenda. Marzi is going to try to swing in post, her ZBA meeting. And I know some of this, the social equity policy and the Turpentine Journey conversation and the LDA, she was gonna try to come in for if she could. So we'll move to the DPW.
I was going to
Update.
request that you put the lax wall first. so
Oh,
we can
sure.
Move on.
I'm happy to entertain that. Let's do the lax wall next, since we have some guests. You're welcome. You can sit there. Let's just get you a microphone. Patrick's on it because he's so wonderful. Thank you, Patrick. Okay. Gino, if you want to start the conversation, then we can move on to our guests. Maybe we can give them an introduction.
Yep, so I've been meeting with Ryan and Rents, maybe the last year and a half.
Yep.
Discussing this lax wall, or the proposed lax wall, and the location at the rear of Phillips Park. I'm sure Ryan will elaborate. It's one of the fastest growing sports around. And then, beauty of this is, with all the work that we're talking about, the DPW is gonna supply some support, but youth lacrosse is gonna fund all this work here.
What's gonna fund?
Youth lacrosse.
Lacrosse, yep.
Excellent.
So I'll turn it over to Ryan Joy.
Perfect. Thank you, Gino. Thank you very much, Board, for having us tonight. My name is Ryan Joy. I'm the president of Swampscott Youth Lacrosse. This is Jen Kelleher. She's our girls director for the Swampscott Youth Lacrosse program. As Gino had mentioned, that we're here to seek approval of a lacrosse ball structure to be implemented there at Phillips Park. As you can see here on this short deck that we put together, that if you want to just to kind of flip, I think you guys have a copy of it, maybe if you don't.
We do.
Okay, perfect.
Stay in advance to the next.
So as you can see, first couple pages really just gives you an idea of lacrosse itself, the game, and how fast it's grown over the years. The third page really just gives you, and I guess you could say, an overview of Swampscott lacrosse and the tremendous success that we've had. The program has started back in 1991 by Rick Anderson, Tom Cesar, Art Bagnall, and Tom Driscoll. So the program has been around a long time, and we've seen tremendous growth over the years. We're averaging about 300 players year over year, and about 20% of the students from the Swampscott Elementary and the middle school play the game of lacrosse. In 2024, it was a tremendous year. Both the girls and boys program won the state championship down at Harvard University. So it was awesome to see for both the girls and the boys the same year to win the state championship. So what we're here to do is to gain approval from you folks here and Marianne on the phone of the wall that you can see. The objective behind the wall is to really, I guess you could say, a destination for kids to go and practice, whether it be on season, off season. Very little to no noise factor when the wall is being used by players, highly engageable for social distancing. It's just an overall great structure to have for the game of lacrosse, but it's outside lacrosse. Soccer can use it. It could be a multi-use structure there at the park. I did put pictures of other communities that have a structure there, being Reading, Winchester, Ashland. They're all relatively new. Beverly is, I want to say, about a year and a half to 2 years old on their side of things. Weston just implemented their wall within the past year to 2 years. And then finally, the proposed site on where we're looking to place it is in between outside the practice football field, and then I guess you could say along the walking distance to the soccer fields that are used during the soccer Saturdays here in the fall and the spring. Really not intruding on any sort of space within the youth program. We've gained approval from youth soccer, youth football, the high school coaches to really put it there for the high school lacrosse programs that are obviously gaining momentum year over year here at the high school, but also our youth program. Final page just gives you guys a general information. The total project will be funded by Swampscott Youth Lacrosse. Estimated cost is between $20,000 to $25,000. Dimensions, as you can see, are 6 feet. There's going to be 3 sections, 6 feet by 16 feet high. Everything is going to be done by a company on the South Shore, Situate Construction. It takes about a half a day for them to come up to the area with all the prep work and the assistance from Gino, which we greatly appreciate, and his team. They'll probably start at 8 o'clock in the morning and be done by 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, let it sit, and then obviously the wall will be fully functional to use. So we are hoping to use one side of the wall, whether it be grass or I guess you could say turf or concrete itself, just to have a different situation on the other side of things. So we're hoping for approval. Any other questions or anything like that? Jen and I are here to help you guys and go from there.
Diane, would you just make the screen so I could see if Mary Ellen has questions?
And we are hoping to get pending approval tonight from you guys is if we do gain approval, we'll place the order probably by the end of next, or at the start of next week. And it takes about 10 weeks for Situate to construct the wall, build the wall, and then deliver it. So we're probably looking at a mid-November type placement.
Board have any questions?
Well, just technically, what is our role here? Town administrator takes care of things that are on town property. The town's not paying for anything. Are we obligated to make, I'm happy to make a vote, but I'm just being clear about what we're.
I would guess, so once it's constructed, and I think you turn it over to the town, it becomes town property.
Correct.
I think maybe subsequently you're gonna have to accept this as a gift.
Yeah, I guess there'd be maintenance of it potentially over years, so we'd have to consider it ours post-construction.
Well, there's a couple things here. One is, we should be following the gift policy that we voted on last year. And once we follow that policy, then it becomes under the umbrella of the town administrator. But first, we have to receive it as a gift.
Okay.
So you're suggesting, Mary Ellen, right, tonight, we would be following the gift policy in the way we be accepting this?
That would be my recommendation. And so, we're hearing about it. Well, we've heard about it before. I think this is our second. And so I think we should follow the gift policy. I only have one question on it. I'm in support of it. My only concern is, and I've been told that there's virtually no sound that's going to come off of this. That's my only concern, is if there's going to be sound that's going to affect the neighbors. Otherwise, I'm in total support.
No pickleball issues here. Right?
No pickleball issues, Doug. No, don't
We've
need, no.
heard many a lacrosse ball hit my house. It's a very solid ball. It's not hollow, so it doesn't reverberate the sound in the same way.
Just dense.
It does
dense.
on vinyl siding, I will tell you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yes, that will
And
definitely
glass,
make a sound.
yeah.
Yeah, glass and vinyl siding, yes.
Not on the wall.
But on a cement wall, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm supportive of this. I think this is fantastic, and thank you for bringing to our.
No, thank you very much for listening and having us tonight. And thank you, Gina, for all the help that you've provided us.
I think this will be an excellent addition to Phillips Park, and will, the Phelan families, both of my kids play youth lacrosse.
That's great.
So I appreciate you having a space and thinking about future lacrosse players having a space to cultivate their skills. And the fact that it's multifunctional is even better, and that's great that soccer, other teams might be able to utilize it too. So I am certainly in favor.
Yeah, likewise. For me, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped over that. It's just the practicalities of
Yeah.
exactly how and what we're approving and what the motion is. That's more where I was jumping to.
So then, do we want to make a motion to, make a motion to accept it as a gift post-construction? Or do we have to wait?
Well, can I make a recommendation that
Please.
we put it back on the agenda, just double check the gift policy, and then at our next meeting, as long as we're in compliance with the gift policy that we just voted in. Just to make sure we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing.
So this could, 2 weeks. So this could potentially be a consent agenda.
He said
Yeah, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, I guess, Mary Ellen, yes, we could do that, but I don't want to delay their progress. So, I mean, do you believe this is in any way against the gift policy at all?
I don't want to delay their progress either, but this is really the first time it's coming out, saying we definitely want to do this. Before it was an idea, and I just want to make sure if there are any neighbors out there that aren't in support of it, that they have the opportunity to come out and say, I'm not in support of it. I also want to make sure that we're doing everything the correct way. And keep in mind, I am in support of anything that's going to make our kids better at their endeavors.
Yep, I totally align with what you're saying, other than the fact that it was on the agenda and posted today, so anybody could come out and have spoken as a neighbor for or against the wall. So delaying it 1-2 weeks is not going to allow them additional opportunity to do that. It's also been on the agenda once before, so people could have emailed or reached out to us if they thought it was a bad idea at that time.
We're also getting into winter at that point where construction of a cement structure could be implemented or delayed due to weather.
Yeah, what if we do this? What if I entertain a motion to approve it, conditioned upon the chair, the vice chair's review of the gift policy, and so long as nothing is egregiously against the gift policy, we'll consider that vote to approve it, and if it is, we'll bring it back on the agenda in the next 2 weeks. So,
Yeah, I think that tries to thread the needle.
Yeah.
As long as you all kind of, maybe don't place the order tomorrow, like, let's make sure that we double.
give one of us 24 hours.
No, absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. Gino's got my contact information, so no
Okay.
problem at all. And
We'll look at the gift policy tomorrow, just make sure there's nothing glaring
Okay.
and it follows the process, and so long as it does, we will consider the vote to have approved. If it doesn't, we will bring it back to make sure it is, and Gina will work with you to make sure that that happens.
perfect,
That way we won't delay you if we don't have to.
perfect, thank you.
So does somebody want to make a similar motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mary Ellen.
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
I am an aye. Very good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you
Both
so
very
much,
much
guys.
for
Thank you.
this and all the other hard work you put in for our kids.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Gino,
Next up,
next up, DPW update.
gonna wait for Diane to pull up the PowerPoint.
Do you want to put on a different cap or
Cap, yeah.
anything? You want
You wanna
sit
switch
different-
seats?
Different
Going
chair?
out there, right? Soon enough.
All right.
All right, 2 weeks ago, we saw presentations from police, fire, and community development. So now it's DPW's turn. Next slide, please. All right, so this is pretty much just a breakdown of the department. We'll see the Director of Public Works, then underneath me, Business Manager, the new Assistant Engineer, clerical staff, Gene Whalen, and then under there, we have 4 working foremen in the DPW. One of it's the Water Department Foreman, Brian Martin. Evan Siegel is our Fleet Foreman, AKA our mechanic. Will Torres, Cemetery Foreman, and Steve Kent is our Forestry Foreman. These guys are in charge. Then the crews that you see underneath, divided up to work underneath these guys on a regular basis. So as you can see, we have in the blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 MEOSs. So an MEOS is a laborer, mechanical equipment operator, as well as a CDL operator. Underneath that, you'll see the 3 orange ones. Those are MEOHs, and that means they either have the CDL or the hoisting license, but not both. And then we have 3 laborers who don't have either of the licenses. And then part of this list, I don't know if it's no, we have 4 of our workers have D2 water licenses to work in the water department. Next slide. This is staff longevity. I stole this one from Ruben last 2 weeks, following him. You can see that's the longevity. And the interesting part of this, and I think you've heard me mention this on more than one occasion, is I have right now 19 individuals to work underneath me, and I've hired every single one of them, which in the old days when somebody got a DPW job, they were there for 30, 40 years. Now we have a lot of young guys. And then I noted that 63% of the staff has under 5 years of service working for the town. Good news is, as people have attested to while we've been picking up the recycling, just a lot of good guys that are hard workers, and beauty of it is they all get along for the most part, which makes my job a lot easier.
And nice.
And, yeah,
And nice.
polite.
Yes.
Yeah, great guys. And Natalie.
Natalie.
And Jean.
And Jean.
Yeah, and Jean,
Jean is
yeah.
great, yep. So here's some of the highlights. You can even flip over the next one. This past spring, no, it's the next, one more.
One more,
I skip
Diane.
over the highlights. Go right over to the paving project. So it was starting in April of last year, and it was wrapped up within a 6-week to 8-week project. We milled and repaved 29 roadways in Swampscott. I'm not going to list them all, but those are the roadways right there. As I said, milling and paving those roadways was, I think the estimate came in a little bit under what we proposed, so we spent about $800,000. Still have about $200,000 or $300,000 left, and that's the money I hope to use to do Atlantic Ave from what we previously talked about. I need to get a quote on that. And obviously, when we pave these projects, we try to coordinate them with water work, sewer work, and unfortunately, some of that hasn't worked out best with the sewer work going on around Kings Beach, that I paved some of those streets, but we didn't know the condition of the sewer pipes. Next slide. This is a great project with the use of ARPA funds. $1.7 million worth of ARPA funds was the Marshall Street outfall improvements, which wrapped up about 4 weeks ago. You can see approximately 710 linear feet of 8-inch and 10-inch sewer main was relined. 1,200 linear feet of 6- and 8-inch sewer main replacement with PVC. What happens when we're doing these projects, you can't reline a broken pipe. So what we CCTV means we camera all the pipes. If they're good, we can just line them. If there's broken segments, you've probably been out on Essex Street the past couple of weeks, all those patches, fix that piece of pipe prior to us lining it. Rehabilitated 56 sewer laterals and 31 sewer and drain manholes. Yeah.
That's not a stock photo?
That is a piece of sewer pipe that we took out and replaced. Yep.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten the final results, but we've done some testing. Kleinfeld is going to have to come out and do some additional testing, but the results we're getting from doing our in-house testing is dramatically improved the bacteria going out onto Fisherman's Beach. I was this
At
close.
Marshall Street?
At Marshall Street, right at the outfall. This close to moving the paddleboard program back over there, but I just wanted to firm up the results before I did that.
Can you speak on the laterals a little bit?
Yep.
We're still
We're still
doing them all?
Kind of doing them all.
Kinda
We
doing
do the
them all,
ones
okay.
that cross over the drain.
Okay.
So if you're lucky enough to live on one side of the street where your sewer lateral goes over the drain, we replace the lateral. If you're on the opposite side, unfortunately, we do not do that because I just can't justify it.
Yep.
And I've said from the beginning, it wasn't an easy decision, but from the beginning, it seemed to me it would have been crazy to spend all this money and not do the laterals and then not get the results of spending all that money. I know the laterals are owned by the homeowner, but with us trying to get somebody to pay to do those, that's what we decided to do.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yep. Next slide, please.
This looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something.
Next one. So, is anybody that's been out on Essex Street in the last couple of weeks or in the surrounding streets, Phase 2A of the sewer rehab, Stacy Brook Rehabilitation Project started last month. National Water Main was the low bidder with a price of $2.7 million. I think we appropriated 3.5, so we're going to be looking to do some changes. But we always hit change orders anyway, so I like to leave that little bit of a buffer. Some of the streets that we've been working on, as I just mentioned, Essex Street, Hillcrest Circle, all the areas surrounding basically the train depot. So Phase 1A, we worked our way from the ocean, working back, and now we're working farther back into the system. Project construction ongoing. We update our progress weekly, or at least bi-weekly, on the DPW webpage. We did that for the Marshall Street project too, and gotten a lot of positive results or feedback from putting all the information on the website.
Gino, just about, so Phase 2A, Pine Street's on there.
Yep.
Wasn't there a grant that was authorized for Boynton and Pine Street? Is that accurate?
No, I think she was trying to get the grant, but I don't think we got it.
We didn't get it.
We didn't
Okay, so
get
we
it.
applied for it.
We applied for
It
it.
just wasn't, okay.
Right.
But that's all part of 2A.
That is part of 2A.
Thank you.
And, coming on a bit, what we did find, we used to have some issues with the sewer overflowing on Pine Street. We did some camera work, and that's one of our main trunk lines that goes from there to the pump station. filled with debris because it hadn't been cleaned in years. National Water Main came out, cambered it, and cleaned it, and the amount of debris they took out of there was phenomenal. So I think we've resolved a lot of the issue just by cleaning the main, big 18-inch main.
Excellent.
Probably half the capacity was filled with debris.
So this is commencement of Phase 2A, or like, so this is the 3.5 you mentioned?
Yep.
With timing, just for everyone's sake, this is cleaning up Kings Beach, basically. type of
Continuing
stuff,
to clean
right?
up Kings Beach, yep.
Right, continuing, yep.
Yep.
So rough estimate of timing for this?
For this 2A,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna go into the spring of next year. They're gonna,
We can do this through the winter?
they can do the cure in place right through the winter, yep.
Okay.
Diane, sorry, Diane, could you just show me Mary Ellen so I could see if she's also have comments, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
In, you're saying that you think all of 2A will be done by next spring?
Yes. Yep.
Do we have a 2B
We have a 3?
Or not to.
Now,
or not 2B?
yeah, right, exactly.
Have we talked about a 2B?
We haven't talked about 2B is the SRF funding that we just received. So there is a plan to do 2B, put it out to bid after we finish this one.
And that will go like further up, or,
Yep.
okay. And that would be it? 2B is the end?
No,
No?
no, there
There's
probably
Still
is
more geography after
Yeah.
2B?
No end.
Okay,
2B and then maybe 3A,
okay, maybe,
maybe.
okay.
But we continue to test along the way with the hope that we've resolved most of the issues.
Right.
Mary Ellen, did you have something? Sorry, because I couldn't see if your hand was raised.
The only question I have is on the SRF loan.
Yep.
That application was supposed to go in this month. Are we on target with getting that in there?
We are, yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
The only question I have on this page is the Banks Road commentary. Is it all the way down to Walker? Because isn't that where the trouble spot, we thought the trouble spot was?
The trouble spot's
Pretty
actually
bad.
after Walker. It's
Oh, it's
from Banks Circle
Lower
down to
Banks.
Farragut Road.
Okay.
Yep.
And have we had any additional, work done there to figure out what's,
That's part of 2A. We haven't started that,
Okay.
but it is definitely in
it's definitely on there?
the scope of
Great.
2A.
Perfect.
Want me to re-show it, you ready?
Yep.
Yes, sorry. Is there a way you could show it and I could still see Mary Ellen, Diane?
Not that I know.
Not, okay. Mary Ellen, just unmute yourself and holler. Because I can't see your face.
Okay, I will, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good, because sometimes I'm gonna have to take myself off the screen if I have to move these puppies, okay?
Okay,
But I'll just scream out to you.
okay.
Next is up, we're going to talk about the UV pilot program, which wrapped up on Monday of this week. So basically, we ended the pilot program, mutual agreement between all the parties involved, myself, the mayor of Lynn, and Kleinfelder. We felt that we got as much information as we possibly could get from that, with the exception of during this entire time, we never got that one big storm we were hoping to get, to see how effective it would be during a 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch storm. Could we get a big storm in the next 2 weeks? Possibly, no guarantee. So because we're starting to override the cost of this, we decided to stop to 2 weeks, plus the added effect of stopping the noise. So the neighbors were happy with that. If you've driven by there, down by there today, they've started removing the fencing, the Jersey barriers. The pumps will be gone this week. The generator will be gone. The only thing that could be left is the UV tank itself. As I was saying to David earlier, that has to go back up to Canada, so we have to coordinate getting a crane, trailer, and then shipping it back to Canada.
That's
But-
part of the covered cost, though.
All covered, yep. They made it abundantly clear that we committed to 300, and that's what we were getting.
Very good.
And it wasn't contentious, he agreed, he said, we have options, and the mayor thought it wasn't a bad idea to stop it, because he's getting more heat than us about the noise, because that generator is located in there, not Swampscott.
And then as far as just follow-up next steps for the public, that will be at a meeting in September?
September,
Early
yep.
October?
Yep, exactly, September, early October, Kleinfelder's gonna start getting all the results, they're gonna put a report together, and then we're gonna have follow-up meetings.
Thanks.
Next slide, please. If you've driven around town, this is one of our prouder accomplishments. We have planted 43 new street trees. That was just by the DPW staff this spring. And then 50 new trees were planted by Leahy Landscaping as part of a grant that Marzi acquired, which should not be a surprise. She's great at that. And so part of Leahy's deal with that contract is he owns those trees for 2 years. So we put that in. He has to water them. If something dies within 2 years, they have to replace them. So it's in his best interest to water them. It's been a very dry spring this year. You can see we put all the gator bags on our trees. I think we have lost a couple of them, maybe one right across the street from the town hall, and maybe one of the memorial trees in Linscott Park. And we'll wait till the fall to replace them.
As liaison to the tree committee, I would be remiss if I did not ask the public to please adopt the trees that the DPW plants and help water them, because that could solve some of these issues, especially during dry spells when the DPW can't get out of there, can't get to water fast enough.
Yeah, we've been filling them at least 2, sometimes 3 times a week. I was using the summer help, but summer help's last day was last Friday.
So please water your trees.
Next slide, please. An interesting stat for FY25. We have cemetery foreman and usually at least one other employee, mostly 2, that work in the cemetery on a daily basis, not just cutting the grass and weed whacking, which sometimes gets ahead of us. But if you look at the numbers there, 42 full burials and 73 cremation interments for the past fiscal year. So 115 burials that we took care of last year in the cemetery. Just an interesting fact that I always like to bring up is, started 20 years ago. If we did 100 burials, 90 of them would be full body burials. And now you can see it's flipped. It's almost only 50%, which is good for us in a way because it's saving space. And then, too, it's a lot less expensive for the families. And then finally, I have to give my guys credit for this one here. DPW staff has been working really hard, getting rid of recycling. First week we started it, we took trash. Second weekend was trash and recycling. But now the trash is getting picked up almost completely. They're still missing streets here and there. They're missing homes. You call them in. They come back to do the streets. We pick up the home that hasn't been taken care of. And the reason that is the staff that they're using is flying in from all over the country. They'll come in for a couple weeks, then they'll go back, so we don't have any consistency with someone doing the routes. Typical Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have 2 trucks out. One will do trash, one is recycling, because they're not getting out of the yards quick enough, because they're being delayed by the Teamsters. They don't know the routes. 2 trucks are working exclusively on trash, which isn't perfect. And as I say, kudos to the staff on this past weekend. It's like the weekend prior. That's a 30-yard dumpster there that we are filling with recycling and compacting it down as best we can with the backhoe. Just keep pushing it down. And on an average weekend, 13 of those dumpsters get filled.
Wow.
13 30-yard dumpsters with recycling. So we're collecting a lot more recycling than we are trash, I believe. But I'm not sure about the weight, because what I've been told is that dumpster right there probably only weighs 2 tons. So there's a lot of plastics involved.
Lots of light things in
That's
there.
right.
And just, I guess, state the obvious, like, I mean, it's amazing what we're doing to try to react to this, but, you know, I mean, I do see, you know, people, I know personally, the recycling stuff is kind of like getting to be a little bit of a pain, one way or another, and, you know, a lot of people I'm seeing are just throwing it in the trash now, because they just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so, and we have just no end in sight to, you know, when this is all going to end.
And I talked to the representative today, and he said there's really no end in sight. He had actually offered me 2 recycling trucks to come into town a week ago Saturday. And he said we could probably complete, 2/5 of the town, 40% of the town, and that's it. I said, no way. I said, you're just gonna drive around handpick? My phone's gonna ring off the hook. Why did you do such and such a street and not?
Could we, is that a weekly thing? We could have, do 40% one week and 40% another week and 40% another week? Is that like, something over time to consider?
Potentially, yeah, because I brought up the fact, because everybody reminds me that comes into the recycling over the weekend, that Marblehead's now picking up recycling. I'm sure you probably heard that. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, they have their own transfer station, so all their trash is being picked up and dropped at the transfer station. Ours is going out to North Andover.
So they can get back and forth quick, right? Yeah.
So they have the trucks for that. But then there was a couple of stipulations involved with that too, with the recycling. There was no more than one barrel, and still gonna leave it a lot.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Actually, Diane brought this up to me, and I'm gonna work, now that school's gonna start up again, with maybe some of the sports, football, soccer, and whatnot, to see if they have individuals that are looking for some volunteer time. If somebody has a pickup truck, and an elderly person can call up and say, no, there's no way I can get my recycling to the yard. If we can work something like that out. But for the most part, and you've heard me say this over and over again, the people that come in are so happy with the service they get.
Absolutely.
Thanking us.
Absolutely.
Say, I'll be right back. You have neighbors. A guy will come in with his pickup in a trailer. I just picked up my whole neighborhood. I don't know if they enjoy coming to DPW. There's a lot of smiles on their face. They know we're trying to do the best we can.
Wheeling it down on skateboards.
Skateboards, yeah. That's the amazing part. A lot of people from Farragut, Walker, Franklin, walk their trash, recycling down to the yard.
Environmentally friendly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we see the same people week after week, and it's nice.
Lemonade out of lemons.
Yep.
All right, any other questions on the DPW updates?
I went longer than I thought. I apologize.
It's okay.
A lot of
Something you
stuff-
love.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Cleaning up the beaches, cleaning up the pipes, cleaning up the trash,
I should probably mention that too. I should have put a picture of our beach rake in there. We do rake the beaches 3 times a week.
I just have 2 things. One, just an update on the assistant engineer, because I think
Yep.
this is the first update since he's been part of the team and how that's going.
It's going well.
Right.
Yep. He's taken over the engineering part of it, which
Yep.
is good. He's been working with Kleinfelder on these projects here.
Very good. And then 2, I want to mention, I was able to spend some time helping out at the block party this year, and the DPW staff that we worked with was amazing.
Yep.
They were fantastic. We were asking, I asked one of them if they could move a porta potty, and the look on his face, I was like, you could tell me to hit the sand if you want me to, and he was like, where do you need it moved? Like, they're just problem solvers and just great guys, and they dropped it off way down at the end of the street, and we needed it closer, and they got to work and got it done, and we just really appreciate it.
I couldn't be prouder of him. Yep.
Unsung hero.
Yeah.
Say it all the time.
trying to sink.
Gino,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you to that department. Those guys are just want to reiterate what Katie and Doug have said. They're just amazing. Always smiling.
Yep.
They're at the farmer's market early, and there's not a bad apple in that group. They're just awesome.
I'll relay the message. Can't guarantee any of them are watching tonight.
They're going to bed, they're too
Yeah.
busy working.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Gino, for the update. I think we will move to the LDA, if that's okay, because I could sort of wing that while Marzi's not here, or we all could probably. And then we'll talk about the last 2 items. Hopefully Marzi will be able to hop over. So this is a discussion and possible vote on the amendment to the the amendment to the LDA and the ground lease for 24 Redington Street, which is also the former Hadley School, for those of you who know it that way. So we had signed a LDA with developer Delamar Swampscott, LLC. Clearview, you guys may recall that we went through an extensive RFP process. We had multiple bidders for the boutique hotel. We narrowed it down to 3, and the board ended up choosing Delamar, who has, been fantastic to work with. They're a all-in partnership, and they went through their due diligence period, which ended at the end of April, and they came back with, some requests for amendment to the LDA, mostly surrounding the pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, also an adjustment to the 15-month period that Gina was talking about to secure financing. Part of their requests were really coming from, as they got to know the building, they wanted to explore some historic tax credits and do some historic restoration work. And they felt like there was some financial opportunities there. That application process was going to be a little bit more cumbersome, so while they were getting the work done during the negotiations of the LDA, they still needed a little bit more time just in case, they weren't able to secure that information in the original period of time that was given under the LDA. David, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about sort of how we came to a conclusion of adjusting the pilot. Do you want me to try?
Sure, yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
all right. So, I think what we've learned through this, as we are not hoteliers, is that the most critical time for a hotel to be successful and remain successful is those first 3 to 5 years of business, right? That's when they're gonna figure out if they can fill every room and make sure the restaurant's gonna succeed and the spa and the other amenities and make sure they have staff and all of that. So basically, we came to a conclusion which we thought was equitable between the parties, which is that we would ramp up the pilot or the payment in lieu of taxes over that period of time, so it would allow them a little bit of relief to have long-term success at the hotel, and still allow Swampscott to receive a financial benefit for those that payment in lieu of taxes. I think that it was always a conversation we thought might come back around. Obviously, the economy, the change in economy and the change in interest rates and financial pressures that these folks are having to face, we have to balance with, there are fiduciary obligations to the town, and figure out, whatever is the best answer to not cut off our nose to spite our face and sort of ask for the moon, but still get something that will be financially stable to revitalize that corridor for hopefully decades to come. We believe that the deal that we struck does just that, gives them a bit of relief in that initial window, but then still provides, the financial expectations we thought we might hit going forward. It doesn't change the rent structure at all. The rent remains the same from their answer to the RFP. It's only the payment in lieu of taxes that was altered. I think that was...
I can add a couple things.
Please, Doug.
Well, one thing I'll say is that I think this was the product of a lot of the different perspectives and skill sets of the board. David's commercial banking experience, Katie, your legal experience, and dealing with properties and leases. Mary Ellen's negotiating experience. There was a lot of different eyes and perspectives that were brought to bear to kind of find the right answer here. So I think that is useful for the town to understand, because this was negotiating this. A lot of executive session stuff is appropriate, right? But so people don't see all the time and effort that was put into that. The other thing that I just want to, you kind of said this, but I just really want to emphasize it. We haven't actually said the numbers,
Sure.
right? First of all, so the rent payment, right, which hasn't changed, is $75,000 a year, and the pilot payments are percentages, and they ramp up, but ultimately by year 4, there's a floor of $185,000 a year. We expect it to be somewhat more than that, based on the projection. And going forward. But what I think we can also communicate to the public is that we did a significant amount of research to understand what was fair in the marketplace, looking at other hotels and what they were getting for these types of payments. And I think even though we have reduced from like where we started, I think we still believe that we're getting a very, very, very fair deal with the way we put this together, and have a good partnership in really responding to, as you said, their short-term upfront pinch points versus our long-term benefit from this, so.
Yeah. No, and just to that effect, I think we are getting a very fair deal. And we're also really partnering with them. I mean, as they succeed, we are going to succeed. The town is going to succeed, by having that percentage of food, beverage, and room revenue. That's certainly something that we can, where we certainly want to ensure that the success of this hotel happens, not only in years 1 and 2, but in years 31 and 32 and forward. So I believe that ensuring that this hotel comes to fruition is going to really ignite Humphrey Street. I mean, it's already awesome if you walk around on a summer day, summer night, summer afternoon, fall afternoon. There's people out. Everybody's enjoying themselves, enjoying the ocean air, the breeze, our incredible restaurants, and pretty soon we're going to have an awesome hotel. So those guests to Swampscott can get out of my house and your house, Katie, and go enjoy the seaside and a stroll down Humphrey Street. But most importantly, it's really a very positive public-private partnership, and I couldn't be more excited to welcome our friends and partners at Delamar to Swampscott.
Yeah, just to flesh out just a little bit more of the details. So the pilot payment, instead of being a one-time annual payment, will now be a percentage payment of the food, beverage, and room revenue. And it will ramp up 1% in the first year, 2% in the second year, 2.5% in the third year, 3% in the fourth year, with a floor of $185,000. And that floor was a product of the research that Doug spoke about in order to get a fair assessment of what we would make if we just assessed them for taxes. But the ceiling is really unlimited based on their performance of that 3% of food, beverage, and room revenue. So, I mean, to echo again what David said, this is a partnership, and we invested in them, and we want to, that ramp-up period was to help them understand that we were in it also, and we were going to help them through the lean times, and then hopefully we would prosper through the prosperous times. Mary Ellen.
Just want to remind everybody that we're talking about the pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes. That is separate from the additional money that we are getting.
Yes.
The additional money that we are getting for the room and the F&B. So that's something separate. That's an additional amount. The other thing I just wanted to also acknowledge was the help that we received from members of the Board of Assessors and from the assessor agent himself too, when we had to run and get some numbers pretty quickly. So it's a big effort, and hopefully, exactly what David said, this is a long-term partnership that will really help sustain a really super well-balanced Humphrey Street. It'll make a major difference. We could have really big events. We can be more of a destination community. It just helps out a lot, and I think it's something we're all looking forward to.
All right, well, I think we've gushed enough about how great we feel this is, because we spent a lot of time on it, so thank you for indulging us.
I did note there's one little Scribner's error.
Oh, yes, what is that?
On Article 23, the town administrator email needs to be updated. It is an older email.
Okay, I will ask him to update that, and we will move on from.
Do we have a general town administrator, like a TA at Swampscott?
Well, to go to select board at MA.
We do, and I'll talk to Highfield about that, because we probably should just have TA at MA.gov.
Right, considering.
I mean, there is one to Marcy as well, but there's one to the TA here that just needs to be updated.
We will take that feedback back, and we won't even pay Kurt to do it. I will make that update, and then I will tell him it's all set to go. So I will entertain a vote to approve the amendment of the LDA and ground lease.
So moved.
Second.
Mary Ellen,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
David?
Aye.
I'm a resounding aye. Thank you, all of us, I think appreciating, echoing Doug's sentiments that it was a real team effort to pull this to this point. Very proud that we are seeing this come to fruition.
One thing we didn't note, and it will still be a long time until it actually does come to fruition, right?
Yes.
The timeline here, we're talking about years till the point at which it's actually, open for business, and there's plenty of hurdles still to get there, but, there's.
Yep, so good point, Doug. I think the next step is there's a 15-month financing contingency period, I believe, if I remember the nuances correctly. So then once all the financing is complete and they have comment back from the historic tax credits and the CPACE financing, then they will take the next step, which is to start construction. But they will take possession of the building relatively soon. And that means that, we'll figure out how it gets winterized and protected and all those things, whether the boiler, I'll let Max and you worry about that, but however that needs to happen to make sure it's safe for the winter. Okay, moving right along. All right, so we're gonna start on the first reading, discussion, and possible vote of the social equity policy. So we heard some commentary and public comment. This is our first reading, so generally with things of this magnitude, we will discuss together and then send back if we have commentary or questions or edits. We will, have that discussion now, and then generally we don't vote on this type of thing for another reading. But would anybody like to start? No? Okay, well, one thing we should talk about, since it was brought up by public comment, is whether or not we want to consider removing section 5 on page 3. Consider removing the language of a waiver or reduction for equity parties. Obviously, council has advised us that it's optional and it can be removed. There is another fee that comes in, that 1% that comes into us if they are a social equity partner. So that is, I think, why particularly the public commenter asked us to consider it, because we're already getting a benefit to their social equity participation. And so.
And not only, we're getting a benefit that is not, requiring, it just drops right to the general fund, correct?
That's right.
So so for a CIF, for a community impact fee, we would have to display how we're adversely impacted.
Yeah.
And then have to catalog and allocate those funds just to those mitigation. Mr. Town Administrator, have there been any community impacts to Vinnon Square as a result of TERPENE, to your knowledge?
Negative
To your
impacts.
knowledge. Negative impacts.
None that I'm aware of, zero.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in any of these situations, we need a policy because we're required to have a policy, but I would say for the experience that we've had thus far, for the information we have available to us right now, I asked Marzi the same question, and I believe the answer is it's like a higher threshold for us to, we can't just say that we have a negative impact.
Right.
You have to show you have
Yeah,
a negative impact, and
demonstrate.
then you have to, once you show you have a negative impact, you have to sort of go through the process of determining the value of that impact. And, obviously that can change as ownership changes or things like that occur, so it's important to have something, but that, to our knowledge, it's not occurring to date.
Do we have any idea, just trying to think that through just fully, have you had any conversation with the police chief at all in terms of traffic impacts of distracted drivers or anything of that nature?
Why are they distracted then?
By the purchase of cannabis?
Oh.
Yeah.
We can ask that
Yeah.
question.
I think that's something that floats around, right, about whether or not that, I mean, certainly driving around, one, enjoys the different aromas, no matter where you are at this point in time. So I'd be interested whether or not it's local or national, what the data is in terms of any particular association with traffic accidents or anything like that, just to be thorough about understanding what the impact could be. I'm not necessarily sitting here advocating for this per se, but just understand it.
But I mean,
Yeah, I think-
to that same effect, I mean, it's illegal to drive around and consume cannabis, just like it is illegal to drive around and consume alcohol.
Yes.
So,
Or to
you know,
distractedly
or
drive, text
to
and drive.
drive
and
around
all
with your-
other things which are causing car crashes all over the place, unfortunately.
yes.
It is, but 3 wrongs don't make a right, I guess, so we're talking about cannabis right now.
No, totally true,
Yeah.
but if we then decided, I guess it would be difficult to pinpoint that if there were a correlation,
Right. that it's
I would then
coming from-
question how we pinpoint that it's coming from the two, because I believe you can get cannabis delivery now. And it could be from any
Sure.
town, neighboring town, so.
Yep.
How we then say, show me your receipt, where'd you get it from? Like,
Right.
I don't, but we can still ask the question, this is only the first reading, so we get some more data, and I bet Marzi has it, so I apologize that,
We're moving so fast that she didn't have a
I
chance to
know,
do
isn't that a nice problem to have? But she'll be here for the next time around, and we will be able to answer that question, but I think that it's worth considering removal of as the applicant, or as the public commenter brought forward, the removal of section 5, only because we're already getting a benefit from them, and it might entice more folks to participate in social equity, because yes, we will still be getting that 1% benefit, but they would not be under this policy, so there is an additional benefit other than moral benefit to doing something like that. So I would, we don't have to vote on it now, but I would like to consider that for the next reading, that people think about that.
Yep, no, and I'm supportive of waiving or reducing, or just removing altogether, number 5.
Yeah, I think removing it would, or even saying in the affirmative that we waive it for equity parties. We won't consider waiving it, we just do waive it. We'll have to check with council if that's appropriate, but rather than allowing somebody to consider, we can just say it is waived. So I'll give that feedback to Marzi, and we'll check with council to make sure we can do that rather than delete it.
Excellent.
Any other commentary? I mean, these are pretty standard contracts, agreements. The policy that we have before us is used in other towns and municipalities that KP Law has serviced. Mary Ellen, thanks.
Katie, just what are we looking at as far as a timeline of getting this policy wrapped up? Only because it seems like this is taking a really long time, not by our fault or anything, but my concern is that are we doing everything we can to help the vendor, the shop, local shop, to process this in a timely manner? That's one of the concerns I have, because they've come up a couple times, Marcy's brought it up a couple times, and I just want to know if you happen to know what the timeline's looking like.
Well, so we've viewed the host community agreement a couple of times, as you remember.
Right.
And it was at that point when KP Law came back and said, oh, if you're going to look at these host community agreements, you should really have a social equity plan and policy in place related to the host community agreements. So we sort of put the cart before the horse, and now the horse is in town, so we can, link them all together and move on. I don't think that we have to delay passing the host community agreement at this point if we wanted to. We would just hope to then put the social equity plan on the next agenda and pass that in the next meeting. I don't know why it would be a detriment to do one rather than the other, but we have viewed the host community agreement multiple times at this point.
Yep.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, so then we will, Diane, if you wouldn't mind putting this on the next agenda and asking Marzi to join us. I know she would be here if she could, for the second review of the social equity policy. I will note, there are some questions in here, the social equity policy that says like this percentage is suggested by KP Law, but we really need to determine if we want to use that percentage in a couple of these spaces. So if we could just do a more in-depth conversation next time, that would be what is necessary. Okay, on to the community host agreements. So we have two separate agreements. We'll start with European Journey. Again, we have gone through these multiple times. We had counsel on, I think for CALYX, but we have the proprietors of.
Our attorney's on.
Oh, he is on. Okay, yeah, I mean, we're happy to hear from him if he would like to say anything.
He'd be James.
James?
Are you both from Terpene Journey?
We're both the owners of Turkey Journey.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It was muted there. James McMahon representing Terpene Journey.
Thanks, James, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, so having reviewed this multiple times and having asked to have a social equity policy sort of be considered at the same time, we have that at the table today. Does anybody have any additional questions or comments on this host agreement?
So are all the recommended changes in here, has Terpene Journey agreed to those as well? Do we know? I know you don't see it, so.
I'm honestly not 100% sure kind of which agreement that we get you a bike pass.
You're not sure? Okay, so
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm just not sure if it's the last one that I provided edits to for KP Law, or not.
I sure hope so. I don't know how we would know that. Let me text Marcy.
I can probably just take a quick look.
Oh, sure.
From 8:14.
Oh, great. That is great news. Okay, so then to answer Doug's question, I think the answer is yes. That's the updated one, and they've agreed to the proposed edits.
So all these edits then, these are coming from like a standard agreement for host community agreements, and then you all kind of work back and forth, and that's why we're seeing so many things struck? Is that kind of a general way to understand this, or? I mean, I'll just give you, just for everyone's there's a statement here, whereas the town recognizes its obligations to comply with the requirements set forth in 935 CMR as it relates to hosting an officially designated social equity company. And so the recommendation here is to take that out. But I'm not following in some ways. I would think that you guys would want that in. So that's why I'm having a little trouble following the bouncing ball here. Does that make sense? why I'm asking that question?
Yes. Which section are you looking?
Right, the first page.
Okay, sorry.
They say maybe not includes this language here. I don't know, was it put somewhere else?
I think from what I understand, I think it was my understanding that we still were going potentially back to, we had revisions to that, to your point, and I don't think we heard back. We had asked for another conversation, and I think we didn't have another conversation.
Yeah, I think honestly, it might actually make sense. I never thought it'd say this. It might actually make sense for us to push this to the next meeting, make sure that we're totally on the same page with respect to all the language, et cetera.
Okay,
Okay.
If that makes sense.
it wasn't my intention, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
we're-
I think to Doug's point, we are very willing to partner and work
Yes.
with a host community agreement that works for both parties. And in doing so, we want to make sure that whatever we review is sort of in agreement with you before we then pass it, or else then, if you then change it, we have to come back.
We're back here
anyways.
anyway.
That makes
Yeah,
perfect sense.
okay. So then why don't we table the turpentine, the host community agreements for both CALYX Peak and Terpene, not turpentine, Terpene, sorry, Journey. And we will put it back on the next agenda, and it will go more smoothly because we will have confirmed all this information, and Marzi will be here. Who's the linchpin in all of this going more smoothly. If you have, I'll have Marzi email you and your attorney tomorrow to make sure that you're reviewing the right version and that we have all the questions answered. And then maybe we can get a version that's redlined and a version that is in its form so that we can make sure everything's been hit. Okay.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, so those will move to 2 weeks from now.
The good news is that we made it to this point for you in just an hour and a half instead of 3 hours.
I know.
Appreciate it.
Okay. It's a Wednesday. Yeah, we go back, in September, we'll go back to Wednesday meetings. So Tuesdays in the summer because of our concert series. So I guess all we have left is approval of the consent agenda, which is appointment of the vote to appoint the town planner, which we appointed the town planner last time, but we were worried it was wrong on the agenda because it didn't say possible votes, so we put it back on here. A one-day liquor license for Swamptoberfest, and minutes for 7/8, 7/22, and 8/5.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second, Mary Ellen.
Aye.
Doug.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
I am an aye.
I know, really, I can't comment on that. I'm eliminated.
please.
For some reason, I'm not acknowledged in those meetings.
You're not what?
Acknowledged
Okay.
as a town official being there.
Oh, which ones?
The 8th and the 22nd.
Okay, sorry about
As amended.
As amended,
As a
yes.
friendly amendment by Gino, we recognize that Gino is a town official and will be listed in
And he
the
was present.
town officials. Oh, you know what?
Was there one meeting
There
you
was
weren't
one you
here?
weren't at. Maybe that was the one you weren't at?
Well, that's what I think she might have cut, copied and pasted, because then
Okay.
continue to keep me there.
All right, well, let's just make sure.
But I have been there, I've been there
Check
for
the
both
tape.
days.
If Gino was here, then let's make sure we add him.
I missed the one in June, not July.
Okay, perfect. Select board time. Mary Ellen, would you like to go first?
Sure, so I just want to go over a couple things. The Solid Waste Advisory Committee, they're breaking off into a smaller group to start to assist with recommendations for the upcoming contract. They also are looking to put something together called a Fix-It Clinic that I would like to possibly have on the agenda, or even just on the consent agenda, to make sure that the board is on board with that. But before we do that, I want to make sure that it complies with our insurance, within our insurance package. Basically what it is you'd have volunteers that will be available to, fix things that might be broken, little appliances or whatever, so that you don't have to throw it out and buy something new. It's something that's done in multiple communities, so we're just running the paperwork through and trying to figure out if it fits into our into what we do. So that's one thing. The other thing is the Solid Waste Advisory Committee also was discussing, how to help seniors, seniors that can't get their trash or their recycling. That's actually just a recycling over to DPW, and we have received multiple calls that just have been funneled through Town Hall and through Gino, and they've been able to help with that. But we have gotten a couple of calls that maybe it's starting to get to be a little bit bigger of an issue than what it is. The other next thing is Gino did comment on the election committee, the election review committee, and I'm going to need a date for them to come in sometime in September, September, October, just to give a review of their work, and then we have to just discuss putting it on to the town meeting. I don't think it requires any votes; it's just a recommendation, and that's all I have for the updates I need from my committees.
I have an update.
Please.
Yeah, just real briefly, Water Sewer Infrastructure Advisory Committee, I've been in contact with the chair. She is running through a number of resumes, she's preliminarily looking for very technical expertise and skill sets. I mean, we're looking for scientists, researchers, GIS professionals. We think we've identified some, but they will be meeting tomorrow night at 7:30 in the first floor conference room at Town Hall. They are looking at the scope of what the committee's goals and objectives are. I think when it was founded a little over a year ago, they had these grand plans to do 10, 12, 14 different things. I think as they've gotten up and running, they've realized that, we probably won't be everything to everyone. We're probably going to have to narrow our scope, and really what that scope is going to be moving forward is going to help them procure the expertise and the talent that they need to seat that committee. But that is something that Kelly is working on, and I'm working on with her. So we hope to have an update very soon. There hasn't been any issues with obtaining a quorum or anything for the Water Sewer Infrastructure Advisory Committee, and we are very much looking forward to having a presentation from Gino, from Kleinfelder, and Liz Smith and Matt Pelland in the very near future about the UV pilot, and sharing those results with the Select Board and the public. Thanks.
Thanks, David. Doug?
Not much, just a brief update on CPA. We're still waiting with all things that were passed at town meeting. I understand from Jared for final AG approval on the bylaw to set up the Community Preservation Committee. And once that comes through, I think, we've kind of softly put out to all the committees, right, that they need to be thinking about it, that need to appoint somebody. And we've been posting for the Select Board appointee as well, right? So a lot of names? Mm-hmm. Great. So, until that, I don't know when 90 days is from time of meeting.
August 31st.
August 31st.
About that today.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
No, not Gino, Jared, earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so maybe then agenda item in September would be about community preservation.
9/3.
I don't think it has to be 9/3.
9/17.
Yeah, I think maybe once it's approved, Diane, you can share all the applicants with us for the Select Board nominee, and we can get out we probably should send out a note. I'd be shocked if it's not approved. So we should get out a clear note to all those committees saying we need someone, say, by 9:15.
I already did that.
You already did that?
It's almost full.
Okay,
Yeah.
all the other committees have appointed people?
Yep. And
She's
they're
on
also
it.
appointing primary and alternates, which I know we did that in PV on my committee, so at least that way, if he's not there, then his alternate can vote.
Great.
Superstar.
Excellent.
Amazing.
So then maybe by the second meeting in September, we could be appointing the full committee.
Okay, great. Okay, also for the second meeting in September, which happens to be my husband's birthday, we are gonna discuss select board goals. So I'm giving everybody a lot of notice, a whole month, for you to think about it. We can certainly go back, maybe Diane, you can pull the agenda from our Saturday meeting prior, where we talked about select board goals, and we can talk about them in actual context to what we had said they were. We can have some self-reflection, determine if we actually followed them, and we can also see if they still feel like goals we want to continue to prioritize in the same manner. And this obviously is imperative as we hire a new town administrator, that we are giving very clear direction. We are the policymaking board in the town, and we need our town administrator to feel like the decisions they make running the town support the goals that the select board ultimately is asking them to. And he or she should not have to ask us. We should have to just say it. And I would like to, Diane, if you would help me, because you're so good at remembering, do a quarterly check-in for these goals going forward. That way, I don't know if quarterly is the right amount of time, but we'll start there and then we'll see. That way, that might help with some of these transparency questions that were brought up in a myriad of other surveys, whether or not, we're making decisions based on transparent methodologies. The goals conversation came up, I had my first tri-chair meeting. I've not met tri-chair before. And we sort of chatted about what a financial summit might look like. We looked at the agendas for prior financial summits. And also, part of their request was that we had that goal setting done before we had a financial summit, because it will drive a lot of the conversation. I think we all now have met with the new superintendent, Jason Kalishman. Appreciate that he reached out to us and wanted to just touch base. He's been doing a lot of outreach. He's been at farmers markets. He was at the block party, thank you, and has been very available to folks, and want to thank him for the time and energy he spent doing that. We've had, a couple people reach out wanting to help the school in some way, given the budget crisis, and just say, maybe individually they felt like they could do more. So I have been meeting with Jason about what that might look like, and maybe if we could create some sort of menu of opportunities that people, one-time opportunities if people wanted to make significant donations, what that might look like to help alleviate some stuff on their side. So that is ongoing conversation, and excited to spend somebody else's money for once. There's been a couple of conversations about the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee and whether or not that should be reinstituted, and there's been some chatter about it. I know some people have applied to be on it. I just want to comment that I have found, having attended multiple of the community meetings, not the Setsnav ones, but prior to that, that those community meetings are far more productive than the Traffic Advisory Study Committee was, only because it sort of put a board of people who don't live in the neighborhood, sort of put them in a position where they listen to the neighbors and they listen to the facts, and they had to make a decision rather than having the community come together, the neighbors come together and decide what's best for the neighborhood. I think Officer Reen agrees that this is a far better approach right now. Chief Casada also agreed, and I think, Gino, I think you can speak for yourself, but
Absolutely.
I think it's been very effective the way we've been handling it.
I've been part of a traffic study committee for 20 years, and this is the most effective board, well, it's not the board anymore,
Yeah.
setup that we've had.
Yeah, these community meetings have been far more productive, I feel like.
And then having Kevin as the front man.
Yeah, Kevin's been great and
He has
very
been.
understanding.
He knocks on doors, he talks, if there's an issue, he addresses it right away instead of waiting a month to have a meeting.
And I think that helps to take some of the volunteers who are well-intentioned and
Right.
maybe not as knowledgeable,
Right.
certainly not as knowledgeable as Officer Reen, out of that uncomfortable position, and
Yep.
and allowing for professional staff to do their job.
Yes, so I just wanted to mention that so folks didn't feel like we were ignoring the comments related to the Traffic Advisory Committee. I think for the time being, we will not be reinstating it. Obviously, we reserve rights to change our mind. Community Life Center, Gino brought up in his TA report, but we've had a number of wonderful responses. I actually have them all and we'll be reviewing them with some of the members of the committee at the end of the week, which is really fantastic, and we'll see where that lands us. But there has been a whole lot of work done to, move that along, that consideration along, so I just wanted to acknowledge and appreciate the folks who have been doing that.
Can I ask a question about
Yeah.
that? Just, that's an RFI process?
It's an RFI, yeah, RFI.
Right, and
And
then
then,
that's to make sure we understand the right scope, and then we'd have to go back out
That's
to
right.
bid for an RFP for the actual person that would help guide the assessment.
yeah, and they did it that way because they heard the message at town meeting, which is like, we maybe have some stock that we could utilize in a new way or renovate in some way to perhaps house some of these projects. So what does the community need? What are they calling for? And how do we then incorporate that into the RFP? Open space and rec, I am in receipt of a light pollution reduction policy, which they've asked me to review, and then hopefully have a conversation here with you guys about that before considering it for next town meeting. Right now, we don't have a light pollution reduction policy, so this is something they created from full cloth, and hopefully, with our input, then could go before town meeting and have success. Library we touched on, the Library Board of Trustees we touched on, the infographic that came out of some of the presentations that Jonathan has been making in the Commonwealth lately about the successes of our library, and again, we commend him for those successes. And then my last update is the chapel update, which I'm actually gonna ask you to make because you're better at it than I am.
Right. So I met with the Andrews Chapel Committee last Wednesday or Thursday night. They had worked with a consultant who came up with a proposal, threw a little monkey wrench into the plan because he said he cannot take on this work until a year from this October. So I'm going to meet with him this week to see if we can expedite it a little bit, if he can get some of it done. If not, if he can give me a recommendation to use another architect that is qualified in historic buildings.
Thank you, Gino.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's weird that it's only 8:30
What are you gonna do?
and then entertaining.
Families are gonna be like shocked.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Wait.
What?
Katie,
Oh,
can you
Hawthorne,
Oh my God.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Tomorrow night, there is
It's
a large meeting from the Hawthorne Reuse Committee. It will be in the auditorium at the high school. It is from 7 to 10. There will be public comment. Hopefully, public comment will be early in the process, since 7 to 10 feels like a long time. But they're going to present some proposals. They're going to tell us about sort of how they went about the criteria for those proposals, and then there'll be some feedback. And again, that's another labor of love that committee has gone through. And Marzi, thank you for all the hard work to get it to this point. And now we need the public to engage. So please engage. This is an opportunity for you to engage. There will be one more opportunity. I believe they were going to hold 2 public sessions. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's what they said. So, September 18th. Okay, so so please encourage if you can't make it, please send emails to us. We will make sure they get to the committee. But we stopped a process that was in motion because the community asked to be engaged. So we are making space for engagement, so please make sure that we are engaging. Say again? Televised? One more time? Televised. Is it televised? Oh, great question.
I don't know the answer to that. I think it is though. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be taped. It's going to be taped.
It's going to be taped.
And there's also going to be a survey that people can participate in, and the majority of the meeting, only 15 to 20 minutes is reserved for the committee to discuss. The rest of the meeting is just set up for public comment, for people to get up and say what they want to say and give information. The meeting is all about listening. It's a listening meeting.
Fantastic. That sounds lovely. Okay. I think that's it now.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, Mary Ellen,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.